Alright guys, let's move on to document D. And again, this is Ms. Mazza, and it is Tuesday of, I guess, our quarantine. So looking at document D, it says that Macbeth shall never vanquish be until, and this one we see the witches put some apparitions here as warnings for Macbeth. So the story note says, having successfully taken the throne after the murder of Duncan, Macbeth is obsessed by the prophecy that Banquo's children will be kings. He therefore has Banquo killed. So y'all remember reading that Banquo was killed, but then Fleance is the one that got away. So Banquo was killed, but is haunted by Banquo's ghost. And that was at the feast where his ghost appeared and was at the table. He also learns that Banquo's son Fleance has escaped. This is a problem because Fleance could later on become king now because he didn't die. So he was escaping from his hired murderers. Fearing that he will lose the throne, Macbeth visits the Weird Sisters again, who call forth 3 apparitions. These are like visions. So these are like visions that he sees that they give him to reveal Macbeth's future. And before I read it, my child Ben is sitting here and he would like to tell y'all hello. So I'm going to let him tell you hello, then I'll read.
Hey! I hope you're doing good. Bye.
Alright, so the first apparition says, Macbeth, 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 beware Macduff. So first off, he should be beware Macduff because that's the first apparition that comes. Macbeth says, whatever thou art, for thy good caution, thank you. The first witch, here's another more potent than the first. Macbeth, 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 be bloody, bold, and resolute, laugh to scorn. The power of man, of none, of woman born, shall harm Macbeth. So that's like woman born. And what do we know about Macduff? We know that Macduff was a C-section baby, so he is a threat. Again, this one just pretty much tells you about him being a threat. It says, then live Macduff, what need I fear of thee? But then I will make assurance, double sure thou shalt not live. So he starts thinking, okay, well, Macduff can't hurt me, but he doesn't think about the C-section. And then the third apparition says, Macbeth shall never vanquish be until great Birnam Wood to high Dunsinane Hill shall come against thee. So this means until the wood moves. And we saw in the text that it can move. They can cut branches down and move them, and that's when the woods can move. So Macbeth doesn't think that through, so he says, that will never be. Who can impress the forest, bid the tree, or unfix his earthbound roots? So he doesn't think the forest can actually move, but we saw, hey, it did move, and he should have been scared. But he's Macbeth, and he's gotten a little too ambitious and a little too full of himself, and he starts to feel like invincible, that nothing can happen to him. But he's wrong. All right, so let's go over the answers for this. So the answers here for document D says, discuss right here the document analysis. Why does Macbeth visit the Weird Sisters? He fears that he will lose his throne to Banquo's children, and he wants some reassurance, some answers. His attempt to have Banquo killed was successful, but then Fleance lived, so he could become king. And then 2, who does Macbeth, or the first apparition say that Macbeth should be aware? He should beware Macduff. But then the second apparition here, number 3, says, who does the second apparition say shall harm Macbeth? How does Macbeth interpret the prophecy? It says, none of woman born shall harm Macbeth. Macbeth interprets this to mean that nobody can harm him. But again, remember, Macduff was C-section, so he was not of woman born, is what they would have considered back then. All right, number 4, when Macbeth says thou shalt not live, who is he talking about? Of what does he want to be double sure? Well, he doesn't think he has Macduff to fear, but he says, I'm going to kill him anyway. So even though he assumes Macduff is of woman born and cannot hurt him, he wants to make double sure that he is safe, since the first apparition had told him to beware Macduff. So while Macbeth is unable to kill Macduff because he has already fled to England, Macbeth does have Macduff's entire family killed. All right, so number 5, when does the third apparition say that Macbeth will be vanished or conquered? How does Macbeth interpret his prophecy? Macbeth won't be conquered until Birnam Wood comes to Dunsinane Hill, since a forest can't move. Macbeth again interprets this to mean that he will never be conquered. All right, so this is the end of document D, and y'all can hear my child crying in the background. All right, the next one I'll give you is document E.